I'm a big believer that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. The more that we give to people, the more that we serve to people, and the more that we love what we do, the more we get paid back. Act as if you are successful. Act as if you can get it done. And guess what will happen? You will. What you think about most of the time happens. Where your dominant thoughts and intentions are, that's what you bring about in your life. Law of abundance. I'll tell you a secret about getting rich, being happy, doing all the things you want. Everything that you want wants you. Start acting today as the person you want to be. Start believing you deserve these things, and guess what? They start showing up. The reason we're doing this talk tonight is I really am a true believer in attitude. I'm a believer in culture. I'm a big believer that a company makes or breaks it based on attitude of the company, the attitude of the people, the attitude of management, the attitude of why you run a company. So one thing I want to do is tell you a little bit about me so you understand where I come from, where my philosophy's from. And then the next thing I want to do is give you our philosophy as a company. And it's the philosophy we're going to hold you to. And if it's something you don't like, then you don't have to work here. If it's something you like, then that's great, because then the whole company rises and gets better, okay? And I test this all the time. I was just on the phone with Chef Carmen's brother, James, this morning, and he took over as general manager of our Stella Rosa in Philadelphia, and they were up in sales about $18,000 last week over previous years and previous sales. And there's one big difference, and that's the attitude of James and his team versus the previous management team that we had in there. The previous management team would give us 100 reasons on why they couldn't do something, and the new management team is like, oh, we have all these great ideas, we're going to do this, we're going to make that happen, and they almost basically doubled sales from where that store was going. So attitude is a big, big game changer for me. So you guys pretty much know about the brands we already have, Doc Magrogan's, Kildare's, Harvest, Stella Rosa's now Barra Rosa. Let's talk about attitudes real quick. I'm a big believer that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it. And think about it. Everybody here knows somebody who's always grumpy, who's always miserable, who always has bad stuff happen, right? You have that aunt or uncle that's always sick or something's always wrong. You have that friend of yours that's always getting in fights and there's drama and people are always treating them bad and the world's always against them, right? We all have those people. That's all attitude. So think about it. The people in your life, the ones that are making the same bad things happen again and again, they're bringing it on themselves because that's their attitude. We could be miserable right now. These managers here could be miserable about this process, okay? But what's that going to do? It's going to make you guys miserable. It's going to bring the morale down, the culture down. It's really about having a positive attitude. So the remarkable thing is out of this whole entire game of life, guess what we get to choose? We really only get to choose our attitude. You didn't choose your parents, right? You didn't choose where you grew up. You didn't choose where you went to high school. Maybe you didn't get the college of your choice. You're at a college, it's like, okay, I'm at this college, but I wanted to go to this one, right? There's a lot of stuff that you don't get to control 100%. Every day you get to wake up and you get to control your attitude for that day. It really is like the only thing you get to control. So if you want to wake up and have a bad day, you create that bad day. Bad stuff happens to good people and bad stuff happens to people all the time, but it's how you respond to it. In our business, in the restaurant business, bad stuff happens every minute, every day, right? Orders are taken wrong, somebody messes up something in the kitchen, oh, there's not supposed to be any onions on that, oh, I got to remake, all this stuff happens, right? If we sweat that small stuff, then the whole ship goes down, okay? Bad stuff's going to happen, things are going to fail, and we just have to have the right attitude. So a little bit of how I developed this attitude, to give you a little history on me. I grew up in Brookhaven, Delaware County, if anybody's familiar with Delaware County, but I also lived in Eddystone, Essington, Tinicum, Ridley, you name it, I lived all over. My mom was a single mom. She raised me and my two sisters, and basically anytime they raised the rent, we moved. So I went to like 7 different schools during my, elementary and middle school time period. So I learned, though, at a young age, my mom had a really positive attitude. So I learned even when things were bad, there was a way to stay positive, still have hope, and still make things happen. So I learned that attitude young, that you didn't have to be wealthy to have a good attitude. You didn't have everything good happen to you. It's really how you reframe things. When I graduated Sun Valley, I went to Westchester University. Any Westchester University people here? There you go. So I went pre-med at Westchester University. I left Westchester University in the summer of 1992 and went to chiropractic school in Atlanta. I went to chiropractic school in Atlanta. I graduated in 1996. So the entire time that I was in school, I worked in restaurants. So my very first job was age 12 at a restaurant called the Lobster Pot. It was a seafood restaurant. I started out washing dishes. I was like 4 foot 10 inches tall. Imagine me walking into that kitchen. So they actually had to put dish racks on the floor in the dish area, so I was tall enough to reach everything and move it around. And all the chefs looked at me and they're like, there's no way this guy's gonna last a week, you know? And I really enjoyed it, and I worked really hard, and I learned about that. And then I moved up to washing pots, and then prep, and then I got to do steam room, which was steaming lobsters and clams and oysters and all this stuff. So it was really cool. And then I moved up to cooking. Then I moved up to expo, front of house, everything like that. And I worked through restaurants all the way from age 12 until 24 when I graduated chiropractic school. Loved it, learned how to work long hours. I was 12 years old working 12-hour Saturdays. Okay? I would take the bus from Brookhaven to the Granite Run Mall, walk from the Granite Run Mall down to the Lobster Pot on Route 1. If anybody knows where the Franklin Mint is on Route 1, from the mall to the Franklin Mint is where I used to walk because the Lobster Pot was right next to it. And I'd work a 12-hour day, and one of the chefs would drive me home at night, me and my buddy. So that's how I learned to work long hours too, and that's why when I work an 8-hour day, I feel like it's like a half day, right? So it makes a big impression on you. So along that path, as I grew through all that, in my chiropractic businesses, I really learned and tested the attitude principle a lot. And I opened my doors in chiropractic, and I said, I'm going to take care of all patients regardless of ability to pay. And people thought I was nuts. All my friends thought I was nuts. I had $110,000 in student loans. I was married and had 2 kids. And here I was opening my doors, put a sign up that said, we accept all patients regardless of ability to pay. Does anybody here go to a doctor where the doctor's like, hey, don't worry about it, whatever, right? No. So we rapidly went from 0 patients the first day we opened the office to 800 patients a week in about a year and a half. Your average chiropractor sees 100 patients a week. We were seeing 800 patients a week. What was the principle? I was going to take great care of people. They were going to spread the word. And overall, the money was going to take care of itself. Okay? So we averaged about $15 a visit. Your average chiropractor averages about 50 to 75. But I was seeing 8 times their volume. And I only had to have 1 person work in my office with me because we didn't have too many insurance forms and all this stuff and all these things. But during that time period, I tested the principle of give, love, and serve. The more that we give to people, the more that we serve to people, and the more that we love what we do, the more we get paid back, okay? So everything I'm going to teach you tonight is a true principle I tested. So remember that kid that's 24 years old that graduates chiropractic school. He's married, he's got 2 kids, got $110,000 in student loans, and he opens his doors and he's like, I'm going to test the universe, okay? We're going to open our doors here, and we're going to test the universe. We're going to say we're going to provide great food, great beer, great service, and we're going to be passionate. And if that all happens, we're going to be successful. That's the test here, right? So that's what I did. So in chiropractic, I had practices until 2003. I had 2 large practices. I sold them in 2003 after I opened the first Kildare's in Westchester. And we've been in the restaurant business ever since. So from 2003 to today, we've opened about 22 restaurants probably, some for other people, some for us. And this is where my life is. And I love it, and it's awesome, and I love the restaurant industry. The coolest thing about the restaurant industry is you guys may be here with us for a year, for 6 months, for 10 years. While you're with us, I want to help you grow, develop, and go on to bigger and better things when it's time for you. If bigger and better things are with us, awesome. If bigger and better things are you were in school to be a nurse and you graduated, now you're a nurse, but now you have the right attitude and the right philosophy and you know what to do in your life, that's great. So these tools we're going to give you tonight are going to carry with you through your whole career. When you're in my company, you have to carry them with you daily. When you're out in the real world, I guarantee you'll probably pull over some training material and be like, what was that attitude quote Dave used to say? Okay, happens all the time. So here's the attitude quote. You guys will have this in your office. You'll have it in the back kitchen area. I totally live by this. I believe in this. I've used this quote since the day I graduated chiropractic school. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It's more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failure, than successes, than what other people think, say, or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home, a restaurant. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we'll embrace that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people act a certain way, and we cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it, and so it is with you. You are in charge of your attitude. If you read that every day, you can't have a bad day because you realize none of this stuff matters, okay? All right? It doesn't matter what happened to you when you were a kid. Get over it. Move on. Grow up, right? Whatever your parents did to you until you were 18, the day you turn 18, it's on you. You can carry that through your entire life, or you can move on and own your own life, okay? So the other thing is, you just can't change the way that certain people react. You got to keep putting your best foot forward all the time. Okay? There's another great quote talks about the 10 commandments of paradoxical leadership. Some people attribute it to Mother Teresa, and it's not from her actually. But one of the quotes in there is talking about how people are illogical, self-centered, okay, and very difficult to deal with, but love them anyway. That's your job, right, in the service industry? Okay? Isn't that your job? It's like this woman asked for no onions. I gave her no onions. Now she's asking for a side of onions. What can I do to please this woman, right? So let's talk about being the rhino. So how do you become a rhino? What do you do in life to be a rhino? And where did this rhino philosophy come from? When I was in chiropractic school, I discovered this little book called Rhinoceros Success. And it was a little short success book, and it was great. And it was all about motivation, success, and having the right attitude. I used it in my own practice and used it to basically motivate me. And then I got interviewed by Philadelphia Magazine in 1998 or 9, somewhere around there, or early, no, what am I saying, 2006. They interviewed me, and they were talking about, well, what's your company philosophy? And we talked about the rhino stuff, and they came to one of these talks and the whole bit. And all of a sudden, Philadelphia Magazine did this whole story, if you look it up online, about the rhino philosophy. And then the next day, Hilton Hotels called me, Citibank called me, all these groups said, can you come teach the rhino stuff to us? So that's where the rhino speaking business was born. So 2 weeks ago, I was in Orlando speaking to a bunch of people that own gyms about the rhino philosophy. You guys get it for free, okay? So all those people pay for it, so it's fun. So the rhino. First of all, let's be positive and optimistic. We just went through attitude, right? People with a positive attitude go further in life, I don't care what it is. The way the universe really works, it doesn't care about your race. It doesn't care about your religion. It doesn't care how tall you are or short you are, how skinny, how fat. It doesn't care about any of that. It cares about your attitude. People respond to you the way you treat them. And if you have the right attitude, you will get paid back that way. If you have the wrong attitude, you will get paid back that way. Okay? So I don't challenge you to go try that. Walk around for the next week treating everybody like crap. And ask me if your life's any better. Okay? But I guarantee you, if you walk out of here and for the next week treat everybody great, you will get paid back for that. Doors will open, opportunities will open. Okay? If you come in here and every time you come in, you're grumpy to Michael. And then you're like, oh, Michael, I need my shift covered. I have a test tomorrow. You think if for 3 weeks you've been grumpy and treating him like crap, he's going to be like, oh, let me get on that right away. Let me cover your shift for you. It's not going to happen. But how about if every time you show up a few minutes early, you're a few minutes early, you take extra work, you do extra things, you help out. And you're like, Michael, I got in the jam here. I messed up. I need it off because I have this. Michael's like, you know what? You've had a great attitude. You've been for us. You've been here every time doing stuff. I want to help you out. That's all attitude. That's how you get paid back in life. So remove all the crap you think that pays back people in life. It's all about attitude. So be positive and optimistic. There's a really great book. We'll be on this one for a few minutes, Michael. There's a really great book called Think and Grow Rich. So you might want to write it down if you ever want to be rich one day. Does anybody here want to be rich? Sure. There's nothing wrong with being rich, okay? Money's great. A whole lot of money's even better. Don't ever let you tell you money's evil. It's not, okay? Poor people do evil stuff. Rich people do evil stuff, okay? The rich people just get to do more fascinating evil stuff because they're rich, okay? But being positive and optimistic. So Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill wrote a book, and he got to meet with the wealthiest people of his time, 500 people of his time in the early 1900s. And he got to figure out that these 500 wealthiest people of his time had 17 principles in common. 17 common characteristics, even though they're dramatically different people, right? So think about like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, all these people he got to interview. The number one trait that he found that they had that was critical to their success was a positive mental attitude. That without that, they were a failure. Why? Because we all get knocked down, guys. I get knocked down. You don't think this knocked me down? This is supposed to be open in September, okay? How much more money do you think we spent to open this restaurant than we planned on? How much have we done? All these things. That's all. Does it mean I lay in bed all day with the covers over me? No, we get up and we push through it, right? So as you get knocked down, you get back up and you stay positive and optimistic. The next principle is go the extra mile. Raise your hand again if you want to make more money. We all do, right? You went through all this training. You're doing all this stuff because you want to make money at the end of the day. How do you make more money? You go the extra mile. You provide more and better service than is expected, and you will always earn more money. Let me repeat that. If you provide more and better service than is expected, you will always earn more money. I just told every bartender and server how they're going to make 25% on their tips instead of 10, 15, 20. Okay? Somebody comes in there like, oh, this is cool, this Red Star is great. And you just wow them with your service, and their bill's $20 and they leave you 25% on that. It's because you made that impression. Because because you went the extra mile. Because they were expecting service. Okay, they're going to bring me my food, and they're going to do, they might walk into a restaurant that's in a mall, and they might expect like TGI Friday service or Chili's service. And then we wow them with great service, and they're like, this is great. I want to give them more because I got more and better service. Okay? If you're an hourly person, you don't walk in and go, hey, I'm really good. This is what I deserve. You walk in, you deliver, and all of a sudden Carmen's like, man, this guy's a rock star. I need this guy to do more for us. He deserves more. He's been working really hard. So you don't make more money and then show the goods. You show the goods and then you make more money. So it's a problem, and it's a big American problem. Like, people will graduate, right? They'll be like, hey, I just graduated at Penn State, hospitality management. I've got my bachelor's in hospitality management. Okay, let's interview you. Well, have you ever worked at a restaurant? Well, no, I worked at the hotel at State College, and I worked at Wawa. Okay, have you ever worked in a full-service restaurant? No, but I have this degree that says I'm really smart, and I have this management degree. Have you ever worked in a full-service restaurant? No. Okay, well, we're going to offer you a key holder position. Well, why? I have this degree. Because you've never worked in a restaurant. But you don't deserve anything yet. You've never proven yourself. So if you're right now, if you're averaging as a server 18% in tips, and you want to be 22% in tips, you're walking around right now being the 18% person. When you start to function better, deliver better results to your guests, better results overall, guess what? You become the 22% person. Okay? So the secret in life, if you want to make more money, and if you want to have more opportunities, prove it. Go the extra mile ahead of time. Do more than is expected, and you will always have opportunities. This is my fundamental belief in hospitality. That if everybody in every one of our restaurants, okay, by the time Moorestown opens up, we'll have 18. So in 18 restaurants, if every one of those people that works for us goes the extra mile, every restaurant will grow in sales and every restaurant will be up. And guess what? Every time we have a restaurant dip, we can always go on Yelp, and we can always go on TripAdvisor, we can always go on OpenTable, and we can see service comments, ticket time comments, and all these things. What are we doing? Our sales are declining because what? We're not going the extra mile for the guests. So going the extra mile is how we make it. The next principle, and hopefully you guys are already starting to do this, as you form your groups in training, which always happens, you start to get along with this person and people get along with that person. We're going to go into why that happens soon. Average of 10. A huge secret in life. Everybody here wants to be successful, right? Wants a good life? You will become the average of the 10 people you spend the most time with. So take a second. Maybe it's 5 people you spend the most time with. Maybe it's 7. Think about the 10 people you spend the most time with. Are they good people? Are they making good things happen? Are they You're a little scared. I can see that. You're like, ooh. Okay, you might want to delete some people out of your phone tonight, okay? So you become the average of the 10 people you spend the most time with. Why? They shape your thoughts. They shape your actions, and they shape your habits, okay? If every night you get done work here, and you go, wow, we're going to go to the Poorhouse, or we're going to go to Appetites on Main, or we're going to go to Kildare's in Westchester, which you should go to because you'll get a discount, right? But if you leave here every night, and you're a server, and you have $200 in your pocket, and you drink $100 of it every night when you get done work with your friends at the bar, and then you wonder why you're poor, or you can't get a new apartment, or you can't get a new car, or you need to take a semester off college, it's because the habits of the people you surround yourself with. Now, if you get done work and you're like, hey, I got to go home and go to bed because tomorrow morning I'm getting up, I'm running 5 miles, and you hang out with those people, guess where you're going to be in a year? You're going to have more money in your pocket, and you're going to be healthier, right? That's just a broad example of it, all right? Another way to give you an example, if you spend your time with 10 millionaires, if your best friends are all millionaires, what will you become in your life? Why? You think about money the way they do. You look at business opportunities the way they do. They give you opportunities because you're their friend. They're like, hey, we're doing this real estate deal. We want to well, I don't have any money. You know what? We're going to front you a little bit because we want you in on this with us, right? You become the average of those 10 people. Now, let's say you decide to spend all of your time with crack addicts. What are you going to become? Yeah, I don't care what you say. You could be the strongest-willed person in the universe, and you tell me, hey, Dave, I'm testing this philosophy. For the next year, I'm going to spend every free moment I have with crack addicts. I guarantee you after a year, you're going to come to me and be like, crack's good, man. It's really good, Dave. You got to try it. It's really awesome. We become who we associate with, okay? And sometimes some of the people we associate with might be family members that aren't the best people for us to hang out with. So you can still see them at, somebody's eyes just bulged over there, okay? You still get to hang out with them at Thanksgiving. You still get to do stuff, but you know what? Maybe that's not where you spend all your free time. Okay? So it's really important. So you become the average of the 10 people you spend the most time with. Why does this matter in training? There are some superstars in this room. We all know the game, right? There's your A employees, your B employees, your C employees. I'll tell you a secret about the company. If you're a C employee, we're interviewing to replace you. You don't want to be a C, okay? A's and B's, A's are your rhinos. They're got it, man. They got it. You could be like, oh my God, we got to get double sat. I got to give you an extra table. Blah, blah. You're like, I got it. And that's that person that they can count on, right? The A employee is that bartender that's rocking the bars packed and things are happening and they've got it under control, right? The kitchen guy, oh my God, fry's going to get weeded, salt, all these things are going to get weeded, and all of a sudden, boom, they rise to the occasion and make it happen. They're your rhinos. Your B's are the ones that are sometimes a little inconsistent. Sometimes they mess up on aloha. Sometimes they mess up on execution of this. They mess up on the recipe a little things. But in general, they're striving to be great. They're striving to be a rhino, right? And they will grow and develop into being a rhino. The C's either can't or won't. So a C is somebody who's like, I can't do that. Okay, let me show you how to do that, okay? So Chef Carmen has somebody in the kitchen's like, Chef, Carmen says, listen, that dish is all wrong. You plated it wrong, the appearance is wrong, the flavor's wrong, everything's wrong. Oh, can you show me the recipe again? Carmen's shoulder to shoulder with him. Here's how we do this dish. This is exactly how. 10 minutes later, the guy puts up the wrong dish again. Next day, he puts up the wrong dish again. He trains him again. Guy puts up the wrong dish again. That person's now a won't. It's not that they can't because they've been trained now. Now they're a won't. Now they choose not to. So that's your C's. What is our job as a management team in a company is to always be recruiting A's and B's. And B's will evolve into A's, and A's will also either move up or move on over time, right? You might have somebody who's a superstar server who's getting their master's degree, and they're awesome, and you never want to lose them, but they get their master's degree, they're like, I'm moving to Ohio, I got a great job, I'm leaving. Okay, great. Now a B starts to move up and take those shifts and take those time, right? So your average of 10, do you guys know who your A, B's, and C's are yet? What you want to start doing is hanging out with the A's. So when you see a server that's consistently managing tables well, a bartender consistently managing the bar well, host managing the host stand well, okay, in the kitchen, the back of house managing their processes well, when you see that, cling on to those people. Say, show me what you do. How do you do it? Maybe they take 50 less steps in a day. It is crazy when you watch just a good server sometimes, how they take shortcuts in little things that they do so they don't have to walk back to the kitchen again or back to the service bar. Or you'll watch a bartender that can take care of 5 guests in the time another bartender takes care of 2. Right? Why not ask that bartender, hey, how do you do that? Oh, well, I always walk here, and then I always make my drink here, and then I go back here, and then I pour this beer from here. Well, why did you take those 10 steps? You were back here. You should have made all 3. Right? Okay? So look for your A players, become the average of them. Self-image. Self-image is really critical to success because if you don't believe in yourself, it's not going to happen. You guys have all heard the stories about lottery winners, right, that go bankrupt, right? Because it's true. There are people that will win $100 million and in 5 years be bankrupt. Why? Their self-image. They believe they're poor. They believe they deserve to be poor, and guess what? They believe they're more comfortable poor. Having $100 million makes them uncomfortable. Sounds crazy, right? But self-image. So what's an example of self-image? If you're somebody who's like, oh, I'm always nervous talking to people, I'm always nervous talking to people, and then we have you at a host stand, and somebody walks in and goes, hi, how are you? Can I have a table of 6? And you're like, I'm scared, okay? Everybody figure out what your self-image limitations are and start to work above them. Because if not, you'll never move forward. What are self-image limitations? Hate to bring it up to you, but you can thank your parents for this. Call them up once, thank them, then move on, okay? You were young, and what did you do? You touched a hot stove, and you go, ah, that's hot. You never touched a hot stove again, did you? Okay? You did a bunch of other little things as a kid. Most of them were pain-induced, right? You fell, you did this, you did that, and you learn your parameters of life. Well, guess what else happens? You fail a math test in 8th grade. And you're like, I'm no good at algebra, I stink at math. And now for the rest of high school, you're like, I'm bad at math. I'm just not a math person, okay? And now today, you believe you're math because you failed a test in 8th grade. Or you were 6, and you were taking piano lessons, and you overheard your dad saying, oh my God, she's horrible. And you're like, oh, I'm bad at piano, okay? I'm bad at math. Sad part is most of us learn by negative reinforcement versus positive. So the stuff you believe about yourself that's wrong, knock it off. Most of us talk negative to ourselves more than anybody else does. You can be like, oh, Michael was mean to me tonight, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, the whole day you've said to yourself, I'm going to do horrible today. I don't like these tables. I hate this section. Oh, my God, I hate running food, blah, 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 blah. We talk negative, and then we wonder why we have a bad day. Okay? So start believing in yourself, because if you say, I'm great, I can do this, guess what? You're going to make it happen. There's a saying called act as if, and that means act as if you are successful. Act as if you can get it done. And guess what will happen? You will. If you act like you can't, you won't. So if you believe you're going to mess up, and if you believe you're going to fail, you are. So who here doesn't feel that comfortable about Aloha yet? Raise your hand. It's okay. All right? You don't feel that comfortable. We have to make sure you are trained so your self-image is, I'm awesome at Aloha. Because if not, every time you go up to that computer, you're going to go, oh, what am I going to hit? I'm going to mess this up. And Chef Carmen's going to yell at me because I'm going to put the wrong thing on the thing and blah, blah, blah. Right? And that's so stupid. We get into that little mold. So master Aloha. And then walk around saying, I'm great at Aloha. I got Aloha. You guys want me to help you with Aloha? I'm good. I got it. Okay? All right? If you're a bar back, where are my bar backs? I got one bar back. You're going to be busy, dude. Great. Okay? So listen, I was a bar back at points in my career, and every time I went to change a keg, there was always that time, I was like, oh, is this thing going to squirt up in my face, right? Happens, right? So if that's one of your issues, master opening kegs. Who here doesn't know how to open wine very well? It's okay. Open everybody's wine bottle. Every time the bartenders need a bottle of house wine open, you open it. And you'll become the best wine opener in the whole building. So I don't want you to go through life going, I'm not good at opening wine, because guess what? Table's going to sit down, and they're going to be ready to buy a bottle of wine, and guess what you're going to do? You're going to sell them away from it. Because you don't want to go to the table and be like, I don't know how to open wine. Okay? So get over your self-image issues. All right? I'll give you an example. One of our top wine sellers in the company for years was actually in the Kildare's pub side. And you're like, what? It was this Mexican guy that had worked for us when he was at school at Westchester. This is years ago. He was in graduate school at Westchester, and he was a wine fanatic and loved wine. So guess what? Every freaking table he went up to in an Irish pub, he was selling wine. And we're like, nobody in the whole company sells wine. But his self-image was what? I'm a wine expert, so I'm going to sell wine. So what you're weak at, master. That's what training's about. Ask your friends for help. All right? So again, raise your hand if you're not comfortable opening wine. Okay? See Ashley. Start opening all the wine for the bartenders, and you'll get great at it. And when you have a table that needs wine, ask a manager to help you out in the beginning. It's that easy, okay? So let's talk about the laws of success. I'm going to give you 4 basic laws of success. If you own the other stuff we talked about, your attitude, going the extra mile, picking good people to spend time with, right, and getting your self-image on board, getting right with yourself internally, if you follow these 4 laws of success, I guarantee you'll be more successful, okay? So this is one law of the universe, right? Throw that to Carmen. I didn't even have to look, right? It goes down. He didn't even barely have to look. He catches it, right? Yeah, so you can see, okay? That's what? The law of what? Gravity. We know it so well, every sport game is based on it. Imagine every sport right now without gravity. It doesn't work. So there's a natural law that you can't see, touch, smell, weigh. You can't say, hey guys, look at my gravity. Isn't it great? You like my gravity? Okay? You can't do that. But what you can do is utilize it. You can't see these laws of success, but what I can tell you is they're 100% real, just like gravity, and they work. First one is law of cause and effect. This is your big law of success. There's a reason I'm here with you right now, okay? And there's a reason our company's at 18 restaurants, and there's a reason our company will be at 50 restaurants, at 100 restaurants. There's a reason we're going to grow. And this is law of cause and effect, okay? That 1, in your life, you need to take and create opportunities, okay? 2, in order to achieve your goals, you can't lay around in the mud all day. You got to get out there and charge. You cannot blame other people in other situations when you don't put yourself out there, okay? Things are not going to fall in your lap until you start charging through some walls. And that's the way it works, okay? You do not get opportunities handed to you. You have to grab them and make them happen. The next one, in the long run, there are no accidents. Sure, there's temporary setbacks. Success in anything, so if you want to get through this training successfully, it is not a straight line. You don't come in here as a C one day, and by the end of training, you're automatically an A. It is zigzag. You get good at this, you're not so good at this. You get better at that, then you got to learn at that. All success is a zigzag, okay? We had a restaurant in King of Prussia, the Kildare's in King of Prussia, right? That was a big zag down for us, all right? We spent almost $4 million on that. We could never service the debt, even when we were doing $3 million in revenue. What did we learn? Don't build so expensive, don't build so big, and open your restaurants debt-free. I needed that failure to go up to a bigger climb, okay? So what you want to realize is that success and failures happen based on causes you establish. So remember we talked about positive mental attitude, okay? If you don't like where your life is right now, if you're not happy with where your life is right now, you caused it. That hurt a little bit? Like, ow. No, I didn't. It was this guy's fault and that guy's fault. No, you caused it. So how are you going to change it? You know how you change it? Today, you start planting positive seeds. So think of it as planting seeds, as being a farmer. And you're walking in the field, and every day you're planting positive seeds. So every day you're in my building, I want you to plant positive seeds. Because you know why? Positive seeds will get customers that say, I love it, I'm coming back. This is great. I ask you in your personal life, start planting positive seeds, because you'll enjoy your life much more. What happens with these positive seeds? They grow, and they evolve, and they become what? Positive results in your life. It's basic. Let's look at the really basic stuff. You have a table that comes in, Macy's likes us, right? Let's say somebody from Macy's comes in, okay? They come in every Wednesday, they love it, they come in, have some drinks, happy hour, and they pick one of the waitresses that's always their waitress. That's planting a positive seed, right? The first time they came in, you take great care of them. Now they're here every Wednesday, 52 weeks a year, and they ask for you. You think they're going to tip you a little or a lot? Think they might give you a present at Christmas time from Macy's? Probably. That's planting a seed, right? So the way I've looked at life is I've gone through life all these years trying to plant as many positive seeds as I can, because when I need one, I'll grab it. When I need one of these plants that's grown up good and it's positive, we'll grab it. We'll make it happen, okay? This restaurant here is a result of planting seeds with Preet 4 years ago, from meetings 4 years ago, where we didn't do a deal with them, but we really did it respectfully and right and built a good relationship, okay? So what happens to you right now is based on the seeds you planted a month ago, a year ago, 6 months ago. So if you're not happy with where your life is right now, you're sort of getting the benefit of those seeds that you planted before. So look at your life right now and go, my life sort of sucks. Oh, when I was 18, I did this. When I was 19, I did that. Did that to my parents. I did that to my college professor. Okay, all right, I sort of got what I deserve. Tomorrow, it's all new. Tomorrow, it's all positive. And then 3 months from today, you'll go, hey, Dave, that positive seed stuff worked. I got this opportunity. I got an internship here. Professor offered to do this for me. Michael gave me a day off with pay. Okay? So start planting positive seeds. I'll give you a big secret in life. The way life works is you're going to be compensated in proportion to the energy you give out, right? Positive or negative. Anybody watch any of the Cosmos show that was on the Science Channel? The guy from the Family Guy, or from Family Guy that did the Cosmos show? It was awesome. It was all about the universe, the way the universe works, and how the universe is all energy, energy and matter, okay? You give out negative energy, you will get negative matter. You give out positive energy, you'll get positive matter. What's positive matter? Dollar bills in your pocket is one positive matter, okay? A nice house is good positive matter. Nice relationships are good positive matter. So in your life, you'll be compensated. Who wants to make more money? Raise your hand. Give out better energy, you're going to make more money. It's not complicated, right? Test me on that one. Treat everybody like crap, and then they'll go try to make more money and have a better life, okay? And it's not just money, it's opportunities, it's friendships, it's relationships. It's really cool stuff that comes your way, okay? You know who gets recruited away from me? Are people that are great at this. And there's a manager from Macy's saying, hey, I have a $60,000 a year job over here. You want to come work for me as my manager of this department because your customer service skills are awesome. And you're like, and then we lose people, okay? Great, because what? You got to move on and do something else you wanted to try in your life, right? So next one. Law of attraction. Anybody read the book The Secret or see the DVD? A few people, good, okay? Secret's great, except it forgets action. It's not just about sitting in a room thinking all the time. It's about taking action on your dreams, okay? The universe likes two things. It loves passion. When you're passionate about something, you can get so much more done when you're passionate. Everybody knows that, right? You have that class you love at college or that job you love or whatever it is, and that thing that you're passionate about, can't you like bang it out? Can't it's like awesome? And then you have that class you hate or that job you hate, and doesn't it take hours and it drags on, okay? When we're passionate about something, it's great. And when we're dedicated to it, it comes back to us. So the law of attraction basically says success attracts success. Successful people attract other successful people around them, okay? Remember we talked about the A, B, and C servers? A's hang out together, okay? The A's don't go, hey, let's go hang out with the C tonight who didn't do her side work and came in late and left me hanging. I don't want to hang out with that person. A's hang with A's, okay? What happens? Think about it. All this energy we talked about, the way the universe works is off energy. Okay? Have you ever been somewhere and you've met somebody and you're like, ooh, I get a weird vibe? okay? Person doesn't like me. I feel I don't like them, okay? Happens all the time, right? Guess what? They don't like you. Just accept it and move on. That is their subconscious brain saying, I don't like you. I can sit here and smile and shake your hand, and I hate you and get away from me, okay? What is that? We broadcast out so much more than we talk about or our body languages or anything, okay? Subconsciously, we're always broadcasting our thoughts, our dominant intentions. So here's how it works. You're walking around, and you're broadcasting like on FM 106 Positiveville. You're like totally happy, everything's great, you're walking around, life's so cool, I love life, this is great, I'm gonna be a success. And then you run into 88.1 loser dude who's broadcasting on loser frequency. You guys come near each other and you can't hear each other. You can't pick up what he's putting out, he can't pick up what you're putting out, and you go separate ways. Now you're walking around at 106 Positiveville, you bump into another 106 Positive, you're like, hey, how are you, man? And you guys connect. You're not just connecting by what you say to each other, you connect subconsciously. And that's the way the universe works. So when you meet that person that doesn't like you, you're just not going to gel with that person. And that's cool. And you don't have to. Okay? This goes back to putting out positive energy. Positive energy attracts positive energy back. So you walk up that table, how many people have had this happen, right? I do it. You'll see me visit tables in your restaurant. And I walk up and I get the cold fish handshake, and I'm a cook at home, and I don't like these raviolis, okay? I get that, right? I'm like, all right, great, thanks so much for coming out. I'm not going to convert her. She's not on my frequency. Done. There's billions of people in the world, not going to work, okay? But you go up to another table, and they're like, oh, this is so great, and we really love it. That person you should mesh with, because that becomes a raving fan for your brand. So there's people that walk in here that love it, and you're like, yeah, we love it too, it's all great. And then you connect. They become regular customers until we give them a C or a D server one day, and they're like, what do you want? Hi, welcome to Red Star. Yeah, beers are over there. I don't know what we have on tap. I don't know. They change it every month. Okay, I don't know. Just look over there. Then they're like, wait a minute. We love Red Star. Red Star is great, but now Red Star sucks because this server just let us down. And all of a sudden, the vibe goes off, and they stop coming in. Make sense? So law of attraction. What you think about, you bring about. This is one of my favorite things. Where you are right now in your life, remember, it's your fault. Because guess what? What you think about most of the time happens. Where your dominant thoughts and intentions are, that's what you bring about in your life. Why? Because that's what you look for. Okay? We don't see things through clear eyes. We see things through clouded vision of all the crap we learned in our life. Okay? So I can watch something happen at the bar and be like, hey, that was a great interaction. And I can have a bartender be like, I can't believe those people just treated me so rude. Actually, they seemed really nice. What conversation were you in? Because I just watched them enjoy themselves and have a great experience. What was that? It was the way they're looking at things. So what you think about and the way you view the world, you reinforce. We don't see things the way they are. We see things the way we want them to be. So if you want to bring about better things, start thinking about better things. What do you think I think about most of the time? Restaurants. Opening more restaurants, looking for more locations to open more restaurants. And guess what happens to me? Every day. Emails, phone calls about more restaurants. Do you realize we have like 6 harvest opportunities right now that are good ones? We have 20, but we have 6 that are like phenomenal because we think about it all the time. When this brand's going really well and we're very happy with the execution, how many opportunities do you think are going to come for us? Tons, because that's what I think about all the time. So we attract things that we think about. So if you think you're going to fail, you're going to bring that into your reality. If you think you're not good enough, you're going to bring that in reality. Okay? If you think you need to be in a relationship where you're treated like crap, guess where you're going to be? In a crappy relationship. It's just the way it is. So what we think about, we bring about into our reality. All right? So you have a dream car? Go test drive it tomorrow. Who here has a dream car? Who wants to share a dream car? Come on, share a dream car. What would you, tomorrow, if I gave you $500,000, what car would you go buy? You like a Bentley? Good. Go strong.
Yeah, I like the strong convertible.
All right, a Bentley Continental GT convertible. Okay. Guess what? You should go test drive one. Put on your best outfit, walk into FC Kerbeck. I like to test drive the Bentley. Are you serious about buying? Yes, I am. One day I'm gonna. That's all you gotta do. But guess what? The minute you drive it, now it's real. Now it's real. Now it happens. Now you've done it. And now your self-image starts to say, huh, I drove a Bentley. It was pretty cool. I could drive one of those in my life. Okay? It's really important, too, because when you think about things consistently, they become your dominant thoughts, and then you act appropriately. So let me give you an example of that again. If you say, I want to be a great server, and I want to get to work early, and I want to make more money in tips, and I want to do all these things, well, if you're opening on Sunday, and Saturday night, all your friends are going to go out, and you know you're not going to get home till 3 in the morning, you say, I really want to be good at my job. I really want to be good at what I'm doing. I'll meet you guys for one beer, but I'm going to be home by midnight. And then you go, come into work, and everything's fine. So when we think about things consistently, our self-image and our self-regulating mechanism sort of keeps us in check. Okay? So if I don't hire the right people, run the right restaurants, I can't expand. So we can't expand this brand until we're all perfect here. And then we can go and expand. Right? So that's where my focus has to be. Law of persistence. After I tell you guys this, you're going to feel like superstars. You're never going to think bad about yourself again, and you're going to realize you can accomplish anything. So Abraham Lincoln, arguably our best president ever, he failed in business in 1831. He was defeated for state legislator in 1832. He tried another business in 1833. It failed. His fiancée died in 1835, and he had a nervous breakdown in 1836. How many people by 1836 would say, I'm the biggest loser in the world, and I give up? Right? Okay, he could be beating himself up here, right? So, gets his stuff back together in 1843, he runs for Congress. He was defeated. He tried running in 1848, was defeated again. He tried running in Senate in 1855, he lost. Next year, he ran for vice president, and he lost. The following year, in 1860, he became the 16th president of the United States. So the guy that failed the most won. Why? Because with every failure, there was a corresponding success. And success isn't straight up, it's a zigzag. And every time he failed, he learned how to deal and cope. Okay? He read voraciously, he read all the time. And he learned and learned and learned. And at every one of these failures that you see, he actually had very big successes on the local political scene in Illinois. So he became the most powerful legislator in Illinois. Sure, he failed nationally, but on the state level, he was the top dog. And then eventually, it all came together for him. The thing I share this with you is, failure is how we learn. Failure is how we become better. So I want you to welcome failure. And when you fail, I want you to embrace it in a positive way, not in a negative way. Say, what can I learn from this failure? How do I not do it again? That's what happens. Okay? Richard Branson, right? They just had the space plane blow up, right? Like the 50th test pilot of that, or the 50th test of that, it blew up, right? Okay? Do you think they're going to stop that program? No, they fully expected that something like that was going to happen. So they're going to get their stuff back together. They're going to figure it out because the big goal is much bigger than one setback. Here, every time he failed, every single time he failed, he learned from it and he became better and better. So what's my argument about failure? If he did not have those failures and he was a trust fund president, like, oh, I grew up in a rich family, my dad's got all these political friends, they're going to slide me in a political office, there's no way you would have had the Civil War and you wouldn't have ended slavery because they wouldn't have the guts for it. He basically was like, guys, I've been through everything. Civil War? I went crazy at 1835. I was nuts, okay? This is going to be awesome, okay? He had the stomach and the tolerance that nobody around him had. Guess what we have? We have tremendous tolerance because we've been in this business and we know what to do. We know how to make it happen. And when we get a setback, we know how to rebuild. So it's really important. So the next time you fail, do not talk negative to yourself. Say, hey, man, this failure stuff is supposed to happen. And as you go from being a cow out in the field complaining and mooing all day to being a rhino charging through the jungle, you're going to fail. If you're a B server and you want to become an A server, if you're a B bartender, you want to become an A bartender, go from B to A, you have to fail along the way. You have to mess up. That's how you become efficient. That is how you become more efficient. Law of abundance. I'll tell you a secret about getting rich, being happy, doing all the things you want. Everything that you want wants you. What does that mean? If you feel you deserve it, if you feel you're good enough, you're going to bring it to you. If you feel you don't deserve it, you're going to push it away. Remember the lottery winner who wins the lottery, loses all their money? It's because they're more comfortable that way. So if you don't have everything you want in your life right now, I'm going to ask you to do two things. One, start giving more. Giving more of yourself, better service, okay? Better attitude. Give more to the people and the customers and the people in your life. Do that first. Number two, go the extra mile and then deserve it and welcome it. When you get that 25% tip, be like, I deserve that. I aced it with that table. I was great at that. When Carmen sees you bang out stuff in the kitchen and all your ticket times are perfect and things like that, and he says, hey, man, I'm going to buy you some food tonight and let's, chat. Let's talk about your career and your path. Own that. Accept that. Welcome that. Because you got it because you did your job right. So most of the time, when things happen to us that are good, we're like, oh, we get uncomfortable. Oh, I don't deserve that. Oh, okay? When you do something great, you deserve to be reimbursed for that. Okay? So most of the time, if we're not getting enough in our lives, it's because we block it. We're like, oh, whoa, what would happen if I did that? I always tell this story that I have two. My dad's side was the Magrogans, my mom's side was the Manleys, and the Magrogan side of my family, they after my grandparents went through the Depression, they sort of never got over that. They were always very, very, very frugal people. And my grandfather, Manley, on the other side, he was a coal miner and then a painter, and when he got through the Depression, it never stuck with him in that way of like fear of losing everything again. And every time his kids and grandkids were successful, he sort of celebrated it. Sort of like, wow, like, look at this, we were coal miners and look what we became. On the other side of my family, it was sort of like, you know, money was bad and like, you know, the next depression was gonna come and hoard, like hide money, you know what I mean? Like, be real conservative. So I would go over to my one grandfather's house, the one that loved people being successful, and I'd be a chiropractor and I'd have my new car there, my new BMW or whatever, I'd pull right into his driveway. And he'd come out, he'd be like, let me see your car, this is awesome. Anna, come see his car, look at his car, right? And he'd celebrate success. So he thought abundance was good. I went to my other grandfather's house, I'd park it around the corner. Because if he saw a BMW, what the hell are you doing buying a BMW for? They cost too much money, and they're German cars, you can't get them fixed, right? Like, just crazy stuff, right? So think about that. If you have abundance in your life, you deserve it, and don't let people hold you back from experiencing abundance. Because every one of your friends buys a Chevy, and you want to buy a Porsche, buy the Porsche. You don't have to fit in with the Chevy crowd. You're allowed to hang out with the Porsche people too, okay? So figure out what your dreams are in life and make them happen. Sometimes we hold ourselves back into certain philosophies, life, and viewpoints and people to make those people feel comfortable, and then you block success, okay? So you deserve all the success that's going to happen to you in life, and take it and run with it and have a lot of fun with it. So remember Napoleon Hill? We talked about that book, Think and Grow Rich. My imagination creates my reality. There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge. Both poverty and riches are the offspring of thought. I love that quote. What's that telling you? Right where you are today is where you deserve to be. You want something bigger, you want something better, go make it happen. Start thinking about it. So what I love about this quote is, remember I talked about Napoleon Hill found the 17 principles of what makes people successful? Number 1 was a positive attitude. Number 2 was a definite chief aim. A reason why they got up every day. Why do you get up every day? Just to go through the motions? To give like, I'll be a B student today, I'll be a C, I'll just hang out, I'll just skate through. I'll go clock in, there's my section, I'll go take care of some tables, I'll just hang out. Or do you go and say, I'm gonna rule this, I'm gonna make this happen, I'm gonna make it great. What do? So what we think about all the time and what becomes our dominant chief aim is what we bring about in our life. You've done this and you don't even know you've done this. Who's in college here right now? Who's graduated college here right now? Okay, back there. So if you're in college right now, that college started off by the things that you did in elementary school, which then evolved into middle school, which then evolved into the right classes in high school, which then evolved in the right SAT scores, the right grades, and you got accepted to college, right? Was your chief aim at one point in life to go to college, right? Okay, guess what? You did it. So you practice that principle. I'm going to ask you to shorten that now. Don't wait 12 years. Practice it in like 5-year increments. Think about things you really want in your life. You can make it happen. It could be a trip to Hawaii. It could be buying a house. But if you think about it every day and you make it a priority, you'll bring it into your life. So if your dream is to go to Hawaii, it's not a dream, it's a reality. You can do that. You can absolutely do that if you write it down, if you think about it, if you plan for it. So this philosophy has already worked for you, and you're already where you are because of the fact that you had a really important goal. And when you have really important goals, you do things to get there. So remember that self-image thing? I want to give you guys a good example of this. So you see this outside box here? That's like the real world. That's like what's really going on in the world. The economy, things, all the different stuff in life. You see this box here? This is the box that most of us have put ourselves into. I'm not good enough. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at that. And we beat ourselves up. I'm going to ask you guys to become real rhinos, to make your real limits the real limits, okay? The real limits in life, okay? Not these fake ones that you've done to yourself. So if your self-image is this big, you'll be a peak performer in everything you do. Why do I want you to do that? Because I want you to be peak performers here. I want you to be the best that you can be, and I want you to love your job, and I want you to come in and love it because you're comfortable with it, and you're good at it, you enjoy it. It's so much better when you own what you do, right? Doesn't it feel good? I got this all figured out. Then it's great. So stop talking negative about yourself because it makes you smaller than you are. All your big successful people in life, athletes, celebrities, big CEOs, all these people, they're all the way out here, man. They think they can do anything. We talked about Richard Branson. Like, who is he to think he can develop a space program? Like, NASA is getting smaller and smaller because the government can't afford it, and Richard Branson's space program is getting bigger and bigger. How awesome is that? That's a guy that believes he can do anything, okay? He couldn't get Led Zeppelin back together, though, for the $800 million tour. He tried. So goal setting. Let's talk about goal setting. Good stuff to write down if you want to take notes. We're getting to the end of the talk here, and this is the stuff that's very, very practical. So we talked about goal setting. If you want to do more in your life, make big things happen, you have to write them down. I recommend you have goals for financial goals, right? If you want to buy a house, if you want to buy a car, if you want to save $1,000 this year, if you want to get through college with no student loans, whatever these goals are. Any goal matters. I would recommend a health goal, okay? Especially in our industry, guys, okay? 21, 22 can turn into very unhealthy 30 really quick, okay? We're around alcohol, food, alcohol, food, fried food, okay? So one of my rules I live by is I don't ever eat fried food. If you see me eating French fries, you know I'm having a really stressful day. If you see me eating French fries and drinking a Coke, I'm having that's probably a really bad week, okay? Because I realize in this business that I'd be like 400 pounds if I ate French fries all the time, right? Okay? So set little goals for yourself, health goals. What things are you going to do to protect your health? Doesn't mean you have to be a marathon runner, but maybe that's something you want to do. Anybody here ever run a 5K? Anybody here scared to run a 5K? Raise your hand. I guarantee if you get out there and you train for 6 weeks, you'd be like, I can't believe I thought a 5K was hard, okay? So you just got to start thinking about things that are important to you. And again, if you want to run a 5K, hang out with people that run 5Ks. And you'll be like, I can do this. So set your health goals, set your financial goals, set your career goals. If your objective is to grow with us, I want to know that. I want them to know it. You know how many restaurants we're opening? I want to grow from within before we get from outside. So if we have somebody here that wants to be a manager, that wants to be a key holder, that wants to evolve with us, we want to open that opportunity up. So write your career goals down, okay? Next thing about after writing your goals down, get your self-image on board. So we use the 5K as an example, okay? If you're scared to run a 5K and you're like, I'm horrible at running, you're never going to run the 5K if every time you say, I'm horrible at running. How about you just get out there and run a half mile and then walk a half mile? Then the next time you run 8/10 of a mile, you walk 2/10 of a mile. Now you're at a mile. Not too bad, right? All of a sudden you're like, oh, I can do this. And a couple months goes by and you find yourself as a great runner. But if every day you wake up and say, I'm horrible, I can never do that, I'm the worst, I'm not athletic, well then you're always going to be that way. So get your self-image on board. So what that means is every goal you write down, you have to believe you deserve. So if I've been telling you I want you to be an A server, A bartender, A kitchen person, and you're like, I'm just not an A. I've never been an A. I've always been the C that's snuck on through. Okay? Well, then you're never going to be the A. You're going to write the goal down. You're never going to do it because you don't believe it. Next thing you do after getting your self-image on board is write your goals down. Why would you write your goals down? And I'm going to tell you, write it down. Don't BlackBerry it down. Don't iPhone it down. Don't do it on any type of device. Physically write your goal down. Why? Because it implants it in your brain. Remember we talked about the things that you think about most of the time you bring into reality because that becomes who you are. So if one of your goals is, I want to go to Hawaii, or I want to graduate college next year, whatever it is. Let's say you want to graduate college next year, and to make that happen, you have to get all the right classes, okay, and the right schedule, and all the credits, and there's all these other people getting credits. If that becomes your primary goal, you will seek out opportunities. Opportunities will find you that make that happen for you. You'll run into an advisor who says, well, I can put the word in over here, and we can help you get that. Or we can talk with this teacher, and this can happen, okay? And you can say, I want to get a job working at X company when I graduate college. All of a sudden, doors start opening, and you're paying attention to it. So write your goals down. They become more important to you. Good example of this, everything I'm telling you guys, we do in business. So little store in Philadelphia called Stella Rosa Philadelphia, we did this with their management team. They sat through the same talk, and they wrote down on a little sticky all over the restaurant, right, on a piece of paper, $40,000 a week. This was a store that was doing about $32,000 a week in sales. And they wrote down everywhere, right, Michael? You walked in there, $40,000 a week. They got up to 40, then they got to 42, and then this week 48. So now their sticker's like 50. Okay? what were they doing? They wrote their goal down. They saw their goal every day, which meant when they saw the 40, they remembered to ask the lady if she wanted to book a private party. They remembered to say, hey, you work at Jefferson? We do catering. Here's some catering menus. They acted consistent with, how do I get to 40,000 a week, right? So if you write your goals down, you start acting on autopilot. You just start making the right decisions. And you don't make the wrong decisions. So this works. Next one. Who wants to be a crazy rhino? Like a total rhino, like freak people out in your home. Freak out your family, okay? Read your goals twice daily aloud with energy and enthusiasm. So why would you do that? Why would that work? Okay? Anybody here married or live with a boyfriend or a girlfriend? Raise your hand, right? Okay? So you go home tonight and you're like, okay, I wrote my goals down. I recommend you write your goals down on like a 3x5 card, like a little index card, and you just keep them in your pocket with all your stuff, okay? Or in your purse or where your keys are, and then you get home, right? What do? You put your stuff out on the counter, right? You put your purse there and you put your keys or whatever. You take out your goals and you go, I'm going to save $2,000 this year. And your spouse is like, what the hell are you saying? Okay? Okay? You get, the next day, you get to get in your car, and your goals are written down right next to your keys. You say, I'm going to save $2,000 this year. Guess what you start doing? Acting, walking, and talking that way. When you're driving, you're like, oh, I'm going to stop at Wawa and get myself a sandwich and a coffee. And then you're like, no, because that's going to spend $8, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save money. I'm going to save money. I'm going to do these things. You automatically start doing the right things. So when you read your goals, your body, your brain starts to believe it. You know how I know this is true? You go to a horror movie. What happens when you're in a horror movie? Or if you're watching it at home? Your blood pressure goes up, right? All the blood goes from your digestive organs and your internal organs and out to your skeletal muscles. Why? Because your brain is watching somebody get killed on TV, and when that person comes through the TV to kill you next, it's going to help you run out. Okay? Your brain knows that you're sitting in your living room and you're watching a movie, but it has an automatic response built in, which is fight or flight. So if you tell your brain every day, I'm going to be successful, I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be smart, I'm going to do these things, guess what your brain says? Okay, how do I see ourselves? Well, we see ourselves as rich, smart, successful, funny. This is great. And you start walking through life. And guess what? You walk into a room. And you walk into this room of people, and you're like, hey, how you guys doing? And you have this confidence. What's the confidence? Your brain's like, hey, I'm that rich, smart, successful, funny guy. How are you guys? It just becomes you. So think about it. If you say your goals twice a day, you just live your goals. It's really, really cool, and I guarantee it works. There's anybody know the Chicken Soup for the Soul books? We've all seen those, right? Those books made $400 or $500 million. Jack Canfield, one of the authors of those books, I was at a seminar with Jack, and those books totally made those guys all their money. They were not big, successful people before that. Jack was actually a school teacher who developed a book for training school teachers, and he couldn't sell it anywhere. And he developed the success book. Couldn't sell it anywhere. Puts a big check above his bed. So every night him and his wife are going to bed, and they're school teachers. They're making like $30,000 a year. Big check that says $100,000 above their bed. Okay? How crazy did his wife think he probably was, right? Every night before he went to bed, what did he see? Jack Canfield, $100,000. Everybody woke up. Guess how much money he made that year? $96,000. Pretty close, right? What happened? His book got picked up. He got some speaking gigs. All these things happened in his life. If he never put that check up there, guess what would have happened? It just would have been an idea, right? Oh, I want to be successful, whatever. But every day he woke up and said, I'm going to make this money. It's like if we said, we want this restaurant to do $5 million a year, right? If the first thing when we open, we want to do $60,000 a week, and we want to go from 60 to 70, 70 to 80. If we don't constantly see it, we're just like, oh, that was a good week last week. Yeah, everything was okay. Okay? You have your pre-meal, and they're like, hey, guys, everything yesterday was great. No, your pre-meal is, yesterday we did 12,000. If we would have done 14, we would have hit this for the week. Let's upsell. Let's do this. Let's do these different things. Let's go do promotions. And you start functioning in accordance with your goals. Next one, persist and adapt. What does that mean? It means when you fail, embrace it and look for the lesson. Success is a zigzag, up and down. So when you have something go wrong, look for the lesson in that. It has to happen, and it's a good thing. When you fail, laugh about it. I messed that up. Guess when we fail? We fail when we think we're awesome, when we think we got it all figured out. Okay? So, you know, the manager down in Stella Phillip, he's like, hey, man, I'm a superstar, everything's great. Then he gets a nice $30,000 week, and he goes, oh, what did I do? Oh, I didn't call these people. Oh, I didn't book that party. Oh, I didn't get back to this. We make mistakes when we think we're great, and we stop doing the things that got us great. So when you fail, start doing the good things again. Adapt. It's okay to adapt your dreams. It's okay to adapt your goals. okay? It is okay. You know what my original restaurant goal was? By 2015, 25 Kildares. We're not going to have 25 Kildares by 2015. We're going to have more than 25 restaurants probably by the end of 2015. But they just didn't happen to all turn out to be Kildares. Why? Because we figured out that people like to drink in Irish pubs and not really eat in Irish pubs, right? Nobody's calling up their friends saying, hey guys, you want to get some shepherd's pie tonight? Woo, okay? Bangers and mashed Fridays at Kildares, let's go, right? Okay? Pubs are pubs. So we had to figure that out. You like that, right? Okay? So we had to figure that out, that's all. We just had to figure out what Kildares was and where it belonged. But because of Kildares became Doc's and Stella and Harvest and all these other brands and now you guys. So we evolved. So it's okay for you to evolve your goals, okay? So that's important as well. The next thing I'm going to say in goal setting, give, love, serve. The more that you get, I want you to give back. Every time we're successful, we give more. Every year as a company, we give more money back. When we do our VIP night, that'll be for a charity, and we'll give money back to a charity, okay? Turkey Run was this weekend in Westchester. We gave 500 turkeys to City Team, okay? You guys should have been there. You get to run a mile with a frozen turkey. It is very fun, I'll tell you that. But it was a good time, and we gave back to charity, right? Next one. So, pretty simple action plans in life. I like things being simple. They don't need to be complicated. So, what can you start doing today to make your life better? What things could you start doing that you know has probably been nagging you in the back of your head? Maybe you should get up 15 minutes earlier, right? Are you one of those people who hit snooze all the time? Okay? If every day is like a cold, rainy February morning and you hit snooze every day, then you're not passionate about life and you need to change your life. Because it's not supposed to be that way. You're supposed to love to get up and do the things that you do every day. And if this industry is not for you, that's okay. But you should get up and be like, you should park in that parking lot and walk in the door and being like, I love what I do. I love being in this industry. If not, you're holding everybody back. Okay? So what things can you start doing in your life? Right? If every Wednesday night you have to be home because you're watching Dancing with the Stars, give it up. Start doing different things. Okay? DVR it for you, okay? But the thing about what can you start doing in life? What things do you know you can start doing to become more successful? We all know those things. We all have those things nagging at us. And I want to give you a little lesson about TV, Facebook, Twitter, all these wonderful things that are in our life. The more time you spend on those, the less money you're going to earn in your life. They're like time killers. Okay? TVs are like the electronic income reducing box. Okay? If you study people, the wealthier people watch considerably, like 90% less TV than poor people. Okay, first thing I would give up is TV. Because if you're sitting home watching Honey Boo Boo live her reality life, how is that a good influence in you? How is 1 minute of that show making your life better? It's not, right? So why are you doing it? So move on. So what will you stop doing? What are you doing in your life right now that you know is detrimental? Are you drinking too much? Are you smoking cigarettes? Are you hanging with the wrong crowd? What are you doing in your life that you know screws up your life? What can you stop doing? What I like to do in my life is I like to quit things cold turkey, okay? I haven't eaten red meat since I was 16 years old. Do you know why? My mom was making meatballs, and she was putting bran flakes in meatballs. My mom was a nurse. And she's putting these bran flakes in meatballs. I'm like, Mom, why are you putting cereal in our meatballs? She goes, well, meat, when it putrefies in your system, causes colon cancer, and there's a lot of colon cancer in the world, and I don't want to get colon cancer. I don't want you to get colon cancer. I said, okay, Mom, well, why don't we just stop eating meat? And I never ate meat again. I was like, okay, well, I'm just not going to eat meat. I don't like the benefit of it well enough that if this stuff's bad for me, I'm not going to eat it anymore, right? So I like quitting cold turkey, right? And then by the time I was done chiropractic school, you'll see me, I only eat seafood and fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, but all because of things I learned nutritionally, okay? All the things I learned, I said, okay, cold turkey, cut that out. I don't drink coffee. You'll never, ever, 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 ever see me drink a coffee. Why? Because I just see these people that can't function without coffee. How you doing today? And that can't be good for you, that you need 4 cups of something to get through a day, unless you got 2 brand new babies and you're getting 40 minutes of sleep a night, right? But I decided, I was like, wow, all these people that I know that drink coffee are freaking miserable. And they're all like caffeinated messes, or they're all like this. I'm like, I don't think that's really good, so I just won't do that in my life. So what things in your life can you just stop doing? And you know what? When you do it, it feels awesome, and it gives you willpower. So start with something small, okay? Any smokers here? Nobody wants to raise their hand, right? Okay. dude, do it. Give it up, and you will feel so powerful in your life. You'll be able to give up anything from that point on. And you'll hate the smell of smoke for the rest of your life. It'll gross you out, okay? Figure out what you can stop doing it. Next thing, you're already successful. So what, about 300 people apply for these jobs, give or take? Out of 300 people, you're here. You've already done amazing things to get to that point. A lot of you guys are in college. A lot of you have graduated college. You've already excelled. So what can you continue to do? Because you're already successful. And everybody's successful in their own way. And everybody brings different things to the table. What do you bring that makes you successful? Continue to do that. Enhance that. Become even better at that. Okay? My friend Pat Croce always says, take action on your passion. I love that one. Right? So what can you continue to do? What are you already passionate about? When you get to do the thing you love the most, what is that? And how can you do that more in your life? And continue, because guess what? That's what you'll be good at. And the money will follow. Okay? So, in closing, what I hope we taught you guys today is to give, love, serve, is to go the extra mile, to walk in every single day with a positive attitude. Because if you embrace that attitude, you will get paid back for that. I also hope that I taught you to plant some good seeds in your life, because if you start planting good seeds, you will get paid back. And don't quit and don't get frustrated. If you've done bad stuff, you get paid for that. If you do good stuff, you get paid for that. And it all comes back to you. So again, if where you are right now, you're like, I like 70% of my life. 70% of where I am feels pretty good to me. I want to improve this 30%. Start planting the good seeds today. Start creating the new habits today. Start acting today as the person you want to be. Start believing you deserve these things, and guess what? They start showing up. Right? So the longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than the facts. It's more important than the past. Whatever happened in your past, guys, let it go. So many people carry on what happened to them when they were a kid, even when they're 40. They're like in therapy, still talking about childhood. It's like, do you do that? You are, right?
No, that's my wife.
So, this is being recorded, Carmen, just to let you know. So, here's the thing, though.
Open and honest.
Then something happens to you at 25, and you get through it and you blow it off. And when you're 30, you're not thinking about what happened to you at 25. So you know what? When you become an adult and own your world and own your life. So don't carry the past forward. If you bring the past forward, it's constantly there. Education, okay? I'm standing in front of you today with a company with over 1,000 employees that we started with a company of 50 employees. I grew up with no money. I graduated $110,000 in student loans. Nobody opened any doors for me. I didn't get any money handed to me, nothing. I did it from ground zero, from scratch. We did it from nowhere, right? And I didn't have the best education, okay? Sun Valley High School wasn't like probably in the top 200 Pennsylvania high schools, okay? Westchester University was a good school, but for pre-med, you know, it's not like all these med schools and chiropractic schools are like, oh, you went to Westchester for pre-med? Awesome, okay? It was about the attitude of how I got there, right? So then education, then money, then circumstances, and failures. It's amazing to me how much you can do with no money in your life. It's about the value you bring. How hard are you willing to work? How hard are you willing to work? And then the money always shows up, okay? Then success is then what other people might think, say, or do. The people that talk most negative to you in your life, if you're doing the right things and they continue to talk negative, it's because they're scared. It's because they're scared of your success and your happiness, and you may be leaving the flock a little bit, okay? Sometimes it's hard. The people you grew up with, the people you spend a lot of time with, it's hard for them to see somebody leave and become more successful and go try different things and not stay in the neighborhood and think a certain way and act a certain way and dress a certain way, okay? So what other people think, say, or do does not matter. And a little clue I'll give you, everybody's thinking about themselves all the time anyway, okay? So somebody says something about you on Facebook or Twitter or this, that, you know what, let it go. Because they're so busy, next thing saying, how'd my selfie look on Facebook? How many likes did I get, okay? All right? So don't worry about what people think, say, or do. It's more important than its appearance, giftedness, or skill, or make or break a company, a church, a home. I guarantee you that if we embrace a great attitude and a positive attitude, and when we go over to Poorhouse and we go to Appetites and we're walking through the mall and we're positive and we're polite and we're courteous about other people's businesses and things and we speak positive, I guarantee you that comes back. If every guest that walks in here has a great experience because we want to give them a good experience, I guarantee you that comes back. So you cannot break that law. If every dish you put out of that kitchen you have pride in, you're positive about, you're passionate about, you put that, and you have so much pride of that dish going out, I guarantee you, guests will come back in the door time and time again. If when you serve that food, you do it with true, genuine hospitality, you love taking care of that guest, I guarantee you make great money on tips. When you're a bartender, your phone's not behind the bar and you're texting, you're actually engaged with all your guests and you're having fun with them and you're educating them about beer and you're having a great time with them, I guarantee that comes back. That's all back to your attitude, and that'll be what makes or breaks us as a restaurant. So Remarkable Choices, we choose that every day. The jobs of the managers here is when they walk in to put a smile on every day and help guide you to having a positive attitude. And if you're in the wrong attitude, it's their job to protect the guest, the coworkers, and the other people to make sure that the attitude in this building stays right. Okay? So remember that we cannot change our past, we cannot change the fact that people will act a certain way, and we cannot change the inevitable. The only thing you control every single day when you wake up is your attitude. So why would you choose a negative one? Why? Every day you get to choose that positive attitude, and I guarantee you doors will open and opportunities will come your way. And I guarantee you we'll have a lot of fun. And that's great. I love walking into restaurants where I don't have to do anything. I walk in, I say hi to people, everything's great. I hate walking into restaurants and I'm like, I just went in your bathroom and this was this. Your server's not in the right uniform. This didn't happen. I just watched a 5-minute greet. Took 5 minutes for a table to get greeted. What's going on? I don't want to do that. I want to walk in and be like, hey guys, how's everybody doing? Everything's great. Okay? Yeah, so, but I really hope that I reached you today, and I guarantee you if you test these principles, and if we live by the principle of giving, loving, and serving, if we give out of our own abundance because we like to, if we love what we do and we're passionate, and we give true service, if we truly serve our customers and put them first, we will get paid back and we will have a blast. So thank you guys. Thank you for coming in tonight. I really appreciate it.